Wow, what a fun Sunday night football game that saw the Dallas Cowboys defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 26-24. I honestly was not expecting that great of a Sunday night football game going into this game, but these two teams really went out there and put on a show, and Dallas has really been impressing me over the last month. I think Mike McCarthy has absolutely coached his ass off, and I think Mike McCarthy has earned himself the Cowboys head coaching position for next season, whether it's, 7-10, 8-9, 9-8, wherever this Cowboys team ends up. Mike McCarthy gets to walk into Jerry Jones' office this offseason and say, hey, here's what I did. I got this team to 7 wins, 8 wins, 9 wins with a backup quarterback for most of the season. Micah Parsons missing a ton of the year. CeeDee Lamb banged up for half the season. Us not truly having a real running back until we made Rico Dowdle the guy at some point through the season. Brandon Cooks missed time. We had to depend on Tolbert. Jake Ferguson missed time. Some injuries to the offensive line. Injuries in the defense and the secondary. Trayvon Diggs out for the year. And continuously, I coach this team up, and we are battling. And if we had Dak Prescott for the whole season, I would garner to say the Cowboys probably would have been a playoff team. Now, Cooper Rush is obviously one of the better backups in the league, but what the Dallas Cowboys are doing is playing their asses off, and they are battling, they are fighting week after week for Mike McCarthy. You look back at their last month, wins like tonight, where they battled with Tampa Bay, where that defense stepped up big time with the turnover, especially late. What a play from Deron Bland. The win over Carolina, who has been a really good team and eliminated the Cardinals from the playoffs today and has been in a lot of football games. Dallas kind of beat them with ease. You look at the Washington win, what a statement game that was for Dallas. Cooper Rush has played great. Mike McCarthy's really coached his ass off. Rico Dowdle in the rushing attack was nothing tonight. Shout out Via Vea. He's an absolute freaking tank on the Buccaneers, but the Cowboys, they battle, they fight. And honestly, I'm really, really impressed with this team. And if you told me I was going to say that a month ago, I would have said I don't believe you, because their team and their season was dead, and they're not going to make the playoffs. They were eliminated from playoff contention earlier today with the way that some wins shook out, I think specifically Washington. But at the end of the day, man, like, shout out the Cowboys, because this was a really, really impressive performance for them. And it's kind of stacked on a couple here that we've seen in the last month or so. So we're going to hop into the stats in a second. Really good stuff on the channel. Reaction to the Saturday games up now. Reaction to all the games from today will be up on the channel tomorrow, as well as Monday Night Football reaction. Doing some really good stuff on the channel. If you love the NFL, be sure to check that out. Let us hop into some of the stats here. And I thought that this was a really fun game. Dallas puts on an absolute show in this game. We talked about the defense a little bit there, but I want to just really focus in and hone in on them. 4 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, 6 pass deflections, 4 quarterback hits. They were all over today. Al Harris, fantastic cornerback coach. He is a guy who's going to earn himself a defensive coordinator job here sooner rather than later. Obviously, Mike Zimmer came in, and he's been successful as of late with this team. Guys like Jordan Lewis, I thought, have been playing really well. Obviously, Deron Bland with that fumble at the end of the game. Micah Parsons is a freak of nature, but, missing Trayvon Diggs, missing DeMarcus Lawrence, missing some key players, this Cowboys defense continued to fight. They were the story of the game for me as well, man. I want to talk about Brandon Aubrey, because 4 for 4, 100%, 58-yarder long, couple 50-yarders in this game. And watching this game, the question crossed my mind. What would an NFL team be willing to give up for Brandon Aubrey? If the Cowboys said, we are trading Brandon Aubrey today, would the Buffalo Bills give up their 2025 first-round pick? Tyler Bass, little hit or miss. Brandon Aubrey, the best kicker in football. Automatic. Would the Baltimore Ravens give up their first-round pick? Maybe. Eagles? Would the Lions? Would these teams that are vying for the Super Bowl and will have ultimately a late first-rounder give that up for a kicker in Brandon Aubrey who's young and absolutely automatic? I think they might. I think there'd be a team that would do it. This guy is just a weapon because he shrinks the field. You only have to get, realistically, a little bit past midfield and you're in scoring range. Brandon Aubrey is a freaking beast. And these points they tack up. The Cowboys, trajectory, obviously, it's a long way to go, but have a potential Hall of Fame kicker here. And I don't say that lightly. The Jordan Lewis interception, I was reminded of that. What a play, man. Like, this is what I mean. The Cowboys defense and the Cowboys corners, especially, Deron Bland with the fumble, Jordan Lewis ripping that ball away from Jalen McMillan. Like, this defense is feisty. This team fights. I don't know if it's Mike McCarthy, if it's Mike Zimmer, if it's Al Harris, whoever you want to give the credit to. The bottom line is this team is fighting for this coaching staff. And I think they get to come back. I really do. I think it's hard to say that Jerry Jones or Cowboys fans can look at this last month of action and be like, this isn't the right coaching staff for this team. I get it. McCarthy's not great in the big games. And, isn't always. He has won a Super Bowl. Maybe you think that's overrated. You can let me know. Sound it off in the comments. But this team fights for this coaching staff. That is evident. And CeeDee Lamb, haven't even mentioned him. We're 6 minutes in and talking about the Cowboys. Haven't mentioned CeeDee Lamb. What a fighter with that shoulder injury. Sorry about that. A lot of guys would sit. Not CeeDee. He's battling. Even though his team is completely out of this, he is battling. And I want to give a shout out to him for that. When you look at the Buccaneers side of things, you have Baker Mayfield, 304, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 97 passer rating. Not an amazing day. He was getting pressured all day long. And the Bucs offensive line is a good one. The Cowboys were really, really producing at a high level. They were really, really getting after Baker Mayfield in this game. Mike Evans, you could see 5 for 69. McMillan, 5 for 57. And with the Buccaneers' loss here, the Atlanta Falcons now take possession of first place in the NFC South. They are in the playoffs. The way Michael Penix looked today, we'll talk about that deeper tomorrow. But hey, man, every game matters down the stretch for the Buccaneers. And if they win out, now their destiny's not in their hands. It was in their hands before today. It was in their hands before this loss. They won out. They were in the playoffs. They won out. They were hosting a playoff game. You drop this game to Dallas, a team that's feisty, but a team that wasn't in the playoffs and didn't have a shot to make the playoffs. And now you're sitting here hoping and praying that other things go your way. And I thought Baker was fine in this game, but I thought that he was pressured constantly. I thought that the Buccaneers offensive line really let them down. Now, I just, talked about how that Cowboys defense was so great, and it was, and the defensive line was getting there, but I thought Baker was consistently rushed in this game, and I think you saw just a little bit of where that gap is between Baker and the elite of the elite quarterbacks in terms of pocket navigation, the ability to get rid of the ball. Baker's a gunslinger. They mentioned in this game that growing up, his favorite player was Brett Favre, and you saw a little bit of Favre, a little bit of the looseness in this game with the ball from Baker, but ultimately, again, I would throw it more so on the offensive line. You look at the team stats, Tampa Bay, 10 more first downs, ran more plays, had more yards, but the Dallas defense, his ability to take the ball away, whether it's fumbles, whether it's interceptions, really, really reigns true here. Because if you just look at these stats, and I didn't tell you who won the game, I mean, this looks like a Tampa Bay win. 10 more first downs, almost 100 more yards, 100 more plus more rushing yards, penalties virtually the same, but the turnover battle, 2-0. That can kill you in the NFL. It can absolutely kill you to turn the ball over in the NFL, and it felt like that it did the Buccaneers tonight. They played a good game. They played a good enough game to win, but the Dallas defense reigned strong here. If you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, you got to look ahead to next year and be like, hey, we had Dak, we had Mike all year. We're a playoff team. And you look at what Washington's doing, Philly's doing, and you're like, we could have been competing in the NFC East. And for Tampa, you hope, you pray that Atlanta slips up and loses another game and you can win out. Because at this point, your fate, your destiny, not in your hands. So be sure to leave your thoughts on the Sunday Night Football game in the comment section down below. What did you think of Dallas? What did you think of Tampa Bay? Drop all your week 16 reactions in the comment section. My full thoughts on every game that we saw today will be up on the channel tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you're subscribed if you do not want to miss that. Leave a like on the video. We'll also be coming up here just like this after the Monday Night Football game, Saints Packers. I know it's not the most exciting game, but the Packers got something to play for, man. Playoff seeding. We are just 2 weeks away from the NFL playoffs. A lot of great stuff coming for you guys. The Tuesday tier list, etc. You know what the deal is at this point. If you love the NFL, hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.